Hey, Ajay. We got it. Ah, man, he's ready for the
Uh,
fight. He's wearing the gi and everything. Oh, man. I like the belt as well there. Oh, man, so cool.
which way should I hold
This
this
way is
camera?
good, yeah.
Alright. Yes, yes.
Yes, Ajay. Oh, I like the belt, yeah. Very good, sparkling.
You know, just to remind people, you know. Yeah, I got the Nova Forza.
Nova Força top. This, we've been telling all the life because the guys that have this Nova Força top are just the roots one. Not many people have their hands on this Nova Força top.
This is limited edition, man. Limited edition.
Yes, that's it. It's probably you, Jose, and a handful of guys. No, nobody else.
Yeah, yeah. I think stop making them. So good.
That's he gonna. He said he's gonna do more. Look, the originals. These are the original one. Ricardo said.
Oh, this is the one. Yes, the signed one.
And how
Yeah,
it,
perfect. Well, so
original.
I'll never get poor because I can just I'll just flog it on eBay.
That's it.
You
Yeah.
know.
As long as if you save it for longer, it's just gonna increase the value.
Exactly, exactly. He's one of the pioneers of BJJ in the UK. So you know.
That's it. Oh man. And how are you? How are you doing, Adriel? With this lockdown thing?
Man, I'm good. You know, doing my BJJ on the mirror, you know, or on Zoom, which I don't think, but you know, everyone is doing it. So, but no, I'm good, man. I think it's I'm quite lucky. I live near you know, a place where there's you know a big park and you know there's a tennis court, so I can always go there and run a little bit, pretend I play tennis. You know, stay more you know more time at home. I can luckily I can work from home, so it's all good.
Amazing. That's good.
Uh,
And how is the training going? You said you're doing some tennis and running. What else have you been doing?
working, you know, I'm still working from home, likely, but yeah, I've been training. Really, it's not happened a lot. You know, it's hard to train. I mean, the weather's been good sometimes, but you know, when you're by yourself, you have to motivate yourself a lot more. You know,
Yeah.
and then I'm challenging myself because everyone wants to see my six pack disappear. So I'm giving them a chance to see a big belly. But you know, so they know. Unfortunately, you know, the six pack is still there. So
They
yeah,
need another 6 weeks lockdown at least.
exactly. I think you need 2 years of lockdown, and then it might disappear.
And Eddie, tell a little bit for us about your martial arts journey. When did you start to do martial arts?
When did I start to do martial arts? Yeah, long time ago in Angola. Um, I was. I think the first martial arts that I did is capoeira. You know,
Yeah.
so cool, and you know, everyone doing lots of acrobats and stuff. So I did a little bit of that, and then and then I started doing judo. You know, just because the building I lived in, everyone, you know, everyone trained judo. So you know, whether you liked it or not, you had to go and train judo. And back in those days, you know, the mats were not the nice mats that you have now. You know, they were uh, wood chips. You know, underneath you know this big rag. So when you fell, you really feel the drop. So yeah, I did that for a bit. I did that for a good bit, and then I started doing Taekwondo because of you know watching too much John Claude Van Damme movies. I was like, yeah, I want to kick like that, you know. So and I, and I I started doing some Taekwondo. I did that for a bit, and then I started competing as well in Taekwondo. And then, yeah, from Taekwondo, was like, I want to improve my, my fists as well. I want to be able to learn to punch. And so then I did a bit of boxing, because Taekwondo, I was doing the WTF style, and WTF style is mainly kicks. You learn to kick, lots of spinning kicks and stuff. And it was, when I came to the UK, it was one of the first things I start training. Was Taekwondo. And then, and I was doing some competitions in Taekwondo, and I went to uni. And when I went to uni, I saw this karate. It was at Westminster University. And one day I was watching these guys, training, and this, it's close quarters combat, the style of karate that they do. And it looked really tough, really tough. The guys were like really hammering each other, and the training just looked wow. I was impressed. So then I asked to join, and I started training. At the time I was doing karate and Taekwondo. And I just had my black belt in Taekwondo, and then at this university I also had Taekwondo, but the karate one was the main class. It was just really intense, really tough. Which is still going now with Gavin. And yeah, so I started training with them, and there was one guy, New Grove, it's a heavyweight guy, and at the time he was fighting. He was fighting in MMA. And back then I didn't know anything about MMA. I was just training, just fighting on the streets whenever possible. Well, fights in the street come with it. I remember when doing judo, you go out and practice the techniques on the people outside, and then here in London, you got into some trouble, but there's so many CCTV cameras that you need to be careful where you actually. But
like Big Brother.
exactly. And here, you go to prison. It's not like you fight, get a fight done and you can go home. But yeah, so and then I started doing karate, and then I wanted to join MMA, because I thought it was kind of the closest you had to a street fight, basically. You cannot fight on the streets, but at least there, almost everything goes, and it's the closest you can have to a street fight. And it was completely different from, competing in karate, competing in Taekwondo, and I didn't know much at the time, of this world of MMA. At the time, it was called cage rage,
That's it,
and
yeah.
fight in the cage, underground fighting. It's quite bloody, quite scary. There was not all this glamour that you have now. There's no Facebook about it. There's no Instagram, no social media about it. You just kind of, cash prize fight. As they call it. Just get some cash, go, and back then, you didn't get paid a lot either. But yeah, he was doing it, so I thought, that looks cool. I wanna try that. Because I just always loved martial arts. I love being active and doing something, and then I also saw Jiu-Jitsu, which is the Japanese kind of version, and I started doing some Jiu-Jitsu as well. And my base in judo kind of helped me a lot with Jiu-Jitsu, but then I kind of stopped it because I felt it quite limited and not very, at least for me, not very practical in the street. That is good if you are. By the time you're very good at it, you're probably too old to fight anyway. So, so then I left, and then yeah. So with karate, I start, and then I started competing, and I went for my first fight in MMA, and I was matched with a wrestler, and back then I was, it was a fight at middleweight, and I've never been really a natural middleweight. My weight is kind of 82, And middleweight, is 84, and people do cut down to 80 to 84. So they tend to be a lot bigger and heavier. And but back then I didn't care. It was like it's a fight. Whether it's big or small, it doesn't matter. We go there and we try to do it. So I went. And man, it was nerve-wracking, because competing at that kind of stage and level is very different to street fight. With street fight, it happens quickly
and finish quickly.
and quickly as well. You don't have to prepare for anything. You go in, it happens. You get pissed off, you do it. With that, you cannot really get very pissed off. You have to make yourself pissed off to fight, in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I remember on the first fight, I almost didn't fight because my blood pressure was too high. So, because when they do the medicals and stuff,
Yes.
I don't know, the whole event, everything just kind of got to me a little bit. And, just seeing the guy there and doing interviews and everyone just shouting and everyone, really getting excited. And then you are backstage, and sometimes, after the first fight is gone, you see guys coming a bit bloodied, and you're like,
holding the nose of the tooth.
Exactly. And, you feel like a lamb to the slaughter. But yeah, and I wasn't scared of the guy, but for some reason, my blood pressure was just too high, and the guys were like, listen, if your blood pressure doesn't go down, you won't be able to fight. I was like, damn, it didn't come all this way not to fight. So I had to go, in some little corner, very quiet, and just, concentrate on breathing and relax and chill. And eventually I managed to get, my blood pressure down. And so, the fight started. And funny enough, just like on street fight, once you trade the first punch, that's it. You go on autopilot, and you just have to do what you have to do. But the guy was a wrestler, so I lost that fight in the third round. I got so tired because trying to stop takedowns, I didn't know how to stop takedowns properly. So the guy was just putting me down, and I couldn't knock him out quick enough. But
Experience.
that was a good learning experience. So then I was like, man, I need to work on my ground game, because in karate we do a little bit of ground game, but it's not the main focus. It's just really some basics. And that's when and then I started looking for Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in London. And there was some guy teaching, some Brazilian guy teaching Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in LSE, London School of Economics. So
everything there, everything there handy.
The rest is history, No, I went there, and and I saw this class, and mind you, I already had some judo background, and and I'm very competitive. And so I went there, and I think Ricardo at the time, was a purple belt. But, I didn't even know about the belts, system anyway. So I went in, and trying to be tough. So I saw the class, the class was really good. And, and Rick, as at first was like, man, this guy. But I think speaking Portuguese helped me a little bit. So, I started talking with him. And then in his style, in Rick's style, sparring, right? So I was a little bit excited. All right, let's do some sparring. And Rick, he doesn't care. He doesn't care what you do. When it's sparring, it's sparring. So I go sparring with him, right? And I'm trying to be tough, and I'm like, it's not gonna happen. And quick enough, he gets me with an arm bar. I didn't want to tap, so I got my elbow going click, 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 click. So I was like, damn it. But that was like, all right, it's like that, Mr. Rick. All right, cool.
Punishment.
So yeah, I've been enjoying my punishment from Ricardo, since then, Oh, so I don't see it as tapping. I see it just as caressing him, telling him, yeah, yeah. But yeah, so and it was really nice. I mean, the class at LSC, I mean, it was completely different. It was tough, but it was fun. It was, and then Rick's character. Uh, he man, his energy is very infectious.
Yeah.
You cannot, yeah, you feel his presence, and so yeah, so I started training, and once I started, I could not stop. Could not stop and start training there, and then there was also the gym in Epsom, and just and you see, like, I was like, I don't care whether this guy goes to teach, in in Wolverhampton in Scotland. I'll make my way there. uh, you I have to, I have to learn what he knows. Yeah, so then I start training. I start going to Epsom as well, which is it's quite far from where I live. It takes me like 2 hours
Wow.
and stuff travel there. But he his motivation is just enough to make you go there, and I want to learn as well. And I knew there was a lot to learn from this guy, not just from his from his take on martial arts, but as a person, as a teacher, and so I became we became quite friends and quite close, whether he wanted it or not. I was always there, Mr. Rick, Mr. Rick.
No,
No, but then and everyone in the gym, is really, and that's the thing about Rick. Everything is very transparent. It is. You get what you see is what you get. You know,
that's it.
so
Yeah.
that was cool. And then I needed his help with the fighting as well. And then the other thing with Rick is he there's no politics with him. It's either like he doesn't care whether you train there, you train here, you train out. You talk to him. And so I was like, let's start doing. I want to do MMA. I want to learn this. And straight away he was like, yeah, let's train, let's do this. And I remember, I think my second fight, I was lucky that the guy was more of a stand-up guy, so the fight didn't last very long. I knocked him out straight away, quite quickly. Um, and and then Tim was also fighting,
Oh,
and Tim is like, he's if you see Tim, you would never think that he's a fighter.
that's
You never
it.
think that boy, that guy when he gets into the cage, he transforms into something that is, just like you
He
don't
looked
know.
like such a
And
nice guy, isn't it? Like a nice
he's such
boy.
a nice guy, laid back, it's like really like Spider-Man. And back then, I guess, because as I said, Rick was, one of the first guys to really bring quality jiu-jitsu into the UK. And Tim had the opportunity to train with him, quite often. So that translated easily into the cage, because the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu is that if you don't know, you don't know. You can't hide them, you know. And so, he was catching lots of guys, left and right and center, and just destroying guys because he was good. And you even wonder, like, if he's doing that to these guys, like if Rick was there, it's actually good if Rick is not there because he would just. So yeah, and then kind of the journey into the MMA kind of started. Losing weight and hard training. But for me, the training with the Nova Forza guys is always so intense and so tough that I didn't actually have to cut weight. Because I was always just kind of just so ripped and and as I said, I don't tend to put on a lot of weight, and then plus with intense training, it just I shed weight quite easily. And another thing that I must tell Rick, I don't think I told him before. He made me lose, I think, 2 or 3 girlfriends.
Dangerous.
Yes, no, because I would always go training, right? My Saturdays my Saturdays were for Nova Forza. As I said, as I live quite far, every Saturday. So, just either karate or jiu-jitsu, karate, jiu-jitsu, karate, jiu-jitsu. And, and then after and then Saturdays became, Saturdays was like, like when you start to, like, almost like a religion. Saturdays, it didn't matter. It didn't matter what was going on, whether there was a party on Friday, whether there was Saturdays, it was sacred. You have to go there. And it was bloody 4 hours of training.
Wow.
So we would do like 2 hours of BJJ and then another 2 hours of MMA. And, as you know, Rick, he doesn't really spare you, so
No
it's
easy.
like, pros, come on up. Man, there's no going easy. But, but it was good. And his style as well is quite, is very like is always after you. And so you don't really chill. You don't really relax. And then when you start training like that as well, you get into that mind. So you're just like, there's no breaks, no rest. And then obviously afterwards, Nando's. Nando's
Tradition.
was a tradition. And there was a Brazilian place as well that sold really acai,
Oh, yeah.
frozen acai. Man, that was also divine. And so after that, after leaving, Epsom, I would start sleeping on the train. And by the time you get home,
Knackered.
there's nothing else. You're knackered. You just go to sleep. But, but yeah, no, it's, so then I kept on fighting and I was doing well. And I think at some point it was kind of like, I was starting to get quite good at jiu-jitsu and then neglecting a little bit my stand-up and then trying to bring my stand-up back in. So yeah, it was quite an interesting mix. It was quite a big learning curve because, obviously even from the karate, because, as I said, the karate guys were quite tough as well. And their training was quite hard. So, and that, I think, in a way, it also helped me a lot, even going into Rick's class because, I was already, I was getting used to that. And Rick's class was, it just really complemented really well the other part of the training that was missing.
Yes.
Getting the techniques going, the techniques flowing, and also, just learning his style of like, you go forward, you go forward. And, no, I think I was quite blessed to have, such good coaches, like Rick, like Gavin. Gavin is my coach from, and those guys, they're motivated, and they want to see you do well.
That's important.
And it's like, exactly. You doing well, you improving yourself is even better than you paying them fees. It's like you would go to fight. I mean, you have now coaches that like, they want to take 20%, 30% or whatever, and back then Rick was like, I'm coming to see you win. I'm not coming for anything else. So it was like, oh, just these little things. It's like care for your guys, and that's and I guess sometimes that is what really separates just a teacher to a really good coach. But yeah, so it started. Always train hard, kick ass,
And what about the belt? Tell us about the belt.
Oh, this belt is a lot of gold, man. It's a lot of gold. I'm keeping this gold. Just might sell it sometime. I don't know how much gold is. With this lockdown, with this quarantine, you never know.
Never know.
Man is finishing, so you need to have the gold. No, but man, this was an interesting story. So I think I went training, just on a normal Saturday, doing our 2 hours hardcore training. But at the time, Curtis was fighting, and he didn't have anyone. Well, I think he didn't. Yeah, he didn't. He had one person in his corner, but he needed someone else to be in his corner. And they asked me, "Oh, do you want to come to my corner?" I was like, "Yeah, cool." So we finished training. We went to his house. Had some nice chicken. Oh yeah. Thanks, Rick. It was fusion day, so Rick couldn't make it, and so I had to step up and try to pretend to be Rick for a bit. So I try and encourage him. Yeah, let's go, let's do this, blah blah blah. Got him ready. So we went in, see the venue. The show was starting, and there was a welterweight tournament going on, right? So there was one. I think one of the guys got injured in the tournament, and another one I guess pulled out. So they needed a fighter, because otherwise, that was supposed to be the main event. So even though we go there early, we were like, just taking time because it's quite far, and so they were looking for a fighter. And I'm like, and then one of the guys said, "Oh, why don't you fight? Because you are, you're like a welterweight." And I'm like, no. There's no way I'm fighting. Just come from training, and when you're really not expecting to fight or do anything, so it's kind of like you train hard, because it's what we do.
That's it.
For if you had a fight, you don't really train that hard. And Dino was coming as well to help out. But if they didn't have this fighter, the show probably wasn't gonna go ahead. But then they said, so it was like the winner would take like 80%, and the loser would take 20%. And I was like, no, I don't think I don't want to fight, blah blah blah. So they're like, come on, Ed, why?
That's it. It was itching.
Where you train from? Where you train from. The guys you train for. You know the level and the quality of the guys you train with. Come on, this is you can do this. After back and forth, so and then some guy told the promoter, "Oh, this guy's gonna fight," and the promoter, "Oh, are you gonna fight? Please, you're gonna fight." So I was like, all right, fight. I'll fight. I didn't, I mean, luckily I had my gum shield because I had my training.
Because you were just come from training, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, for some reason, I ended up being the main event of that evening. Yeah. So, and it was two title fights basically, because Curtis was also fighting for a title, and then I was also fighting for a title. And then so they, and they tell the guy, listen, we found a replacement fighter. Do you wanna take him in? And the guy was like, oh no, we're gonna check who he is, blah blah blah. And I think they went to my Sherdog page just to see who I was and like what was my record. And they saw it, and they were like, yeah, we will fight, but winner takes all.
Oof.
And then yeah, the guy
I got greedy.
They come to me and say, listen, he accepted the fight, but the winner takes all. That's how he won. I was like, shit. So I can go in there, get mashed up with no pay, nothing.
Extra motivation.
But at the time I had already said yes. So like, with me, sometimes I take a long time before accepting any fight or anything like that. Because for me, once I say yes, I cannot go back. If I give you a yes, that's it. If I'm taking my time, then I'm really like trying to ponder. But I had already said yes. So, and the guys were like, oh, that's even better. That means you're gonna take it all tonight. So it was good to have then the coach was like, "Come on, man, you're already here. Why not?" So, like, man, so I put my gloves on. Dino was like, "Come on, Edge, you can do this. Guy is easy." And so,
Dino.
and because the guy, you know, he wasn't very good on the ground, and so the guys were like, "Listen, you know, you shoot on him, put him down, fight is over." I'm like, "All right, cool." So the guy was already warming up, you know. He's a classic guy, good guy, he's a good fighter. And at the time, I mean, I didn't know who he was. You know, there was no time to check on Sherdog, you know, his record or what he was doing. So it's like, all right, cool, let's do this. So, and then, you know, I wanted Carter to fight last, but no, Carter has to go before me. So I actually ended up not cornering him because I had to warm up a little bit and stretch. I think I did go and yeah, no, I think I was there because it was probably another fight and a break before my fight. So he won his fight. That gave me a bit more motivation. I was like, yes,
Can
let's
do
do
it.
this. You know, so man, the fight started, and the guy, I mean, he was making a mistake. And that day, I was like, you know, let's try to keep this standing. So we were trading, and then towards the end of the round, I was starting to feel a bit fatigued. You know, I think I was starting to feel a little bit of gas going. So I was like, you know, I have to put this guy away, otherwise, you know, come the second round. But you know, I was also prepared. You know, I knew like if I took him down, it would be quick. But yeah, after trading, I caught him, I think with a left hook, and then came with a right hand, dropped him, and then just like start pounding on him, and the ref pulled away. But it was yeah, and then you know the guys come in, everyone was jumping, like you know Dino, everyone was really excited, happy, and then it was like you know he comes from quite far, so you know it's okay just to give him like you know some of your first.
So did you give him some?
Well, yeah, I was like, all right, fine, you know, give him a little bit, you know, just so he doesn't lose face. Uh, but yeah, man,
Good of you, yeah.
yeah, got a bit of fun because you know the missus was waiting and she didn't know what I was doing because I didn't tell anyone. It's like you know, just no one knew I was gonna fight. So just yeah, very unexpected.
That's it.
But you know, but that's it. You know, we're always ready, and I think that's the other beauty of training. You know, is that you are in a kind of state of mind that you know you are well with yourself, you're confident, and you know you don't need to use it, but it's there if you need to use it. You
That's
know,
it. Always prepared, yeah.
always prepared,
That's
born ready. You know?
that's it. That's it. You know, Eddie, we have a question that we always ask here. Don't know if you saw
Mm.
that about the pub fight. So we have if you're in a pub and then there's a fight and you need to choose three guys to help you, but cannot be Rick, cannot be Justin, and cannot be Baker. So
Then just run away.
they ran away before anyone.
if if I have this, if I don't have this guy backing me up, then why am I doing that? You know?
Uh,
Yeah, wow, it's all right. So it cannot be Baker, cannot be Rick, and
Justin,
who else?
Justin.
And just
That
okay.
plenty of choice there, Stu.
Yeah. No, I think Tim.
James, yeah, he got you. He took you as well.
Yeah. No. And the thing is, with Tim, is like they wouldn't even look at him, and so they would just see flashes of things happening that they would know where it's coming from. They would probably just focus their attention on me, and then Tim would kind of destroy them. Uh, so Tim, oh, right, and two more people, right?
Yes, that's it.
Um, I think Ramon.
Oh yeah, good choice. That's a good choice.
And that boy is getting, is a monster now.
Younger version of Rick now.
Well, he's more handsome than Rick. Yeah, no. But yeah, no. I mean, he's one guy that he's doing really well with his training, and he has that spirit. He's always ready as well. So, and you guys are ready and don't hesitate. Just like let's do it.
Let's see.
And so yeah, I think Ramon has that spirit as well. Because the stuff that Riggs puts him up to, like just fighting on like 5 seconds notice.
That's it. And he just goes there and destroys. That's the business.
Exactly. Every trying to say, Rick, come on, man. Come on. You didn't give him enough time. And Rick's like, you can do it. He's gonna be fine. Yeah. So, and I think Jose,
yeah. He just had a fight last fusion. Yeah.
and that guy is always game.
That's it.
He's always he's my Safa brother from South Africa.
That's it.
My neighbor. So
that's it. Yeah.
You had the pick. I think it's a bit shorter than me, and then you have me, and then you have Ramon. So you have this nice
slope. Ed, there's a question here. Just gonna pop it up for us. Let's see what there's 3 questions. First one, how old are you really are? Because since I meet you, you are 28. That was from Rita.
Now, you see this here? As I always tell them, I don't age. Good food, good training, good people. How can you age? Our bodies are just amazing. You cannot age. The years go by, but my age stays the same. But now, Ramon is trying to put me to shame a little bit. But but yeah. So whoever asked that question just knows. Where's my passport? But the thing is, I show them my Angolan passport, and they don't believe it. So. But no, I'm not 28. Age is nothing but. They're just numbers.
That's
but
it.
I'm on the 30s.
The 30s. He's going here at least a couple of years older.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of years old, 30s. When I want, I can go back to the 20s. But for now, I'm the 30s.
There's one more question here. Let's check here.
Don't answer the passport.
What's your first martial arts that was done?
Yeah, I started with capoeira and then judo. Those are the 2 big ones.
Yeah, capoeira. In Brazil, we have capoeira, but the main roots are from Angola, isn't it? The capoeira from Angola. They say It's a Brazilian martial arts, but it's actually came from Angola, isn't it? That's the main.
Yeah, so say the history, because it's kind of a fight disguised in a dance,
Yeah.
Where your arms are not very free to move, and you cannot really show that you're fighting. So you pretend you're dancing, but actually you're throwing some kicks and so on. So I think what attracted me first to capoeira is just the beauty of it. It's like all the acrobats that you do, and which I think knowing now is actually quite good, because you start to learn how to maneuver your body. You become very flexible, and you start to generate powers from different angles, which is quite cool.
Yeah, we have one more question here. 1 minute. Let's see. Or is it a question or? Oh no,
And
they
guys,
just put like a
it's
no, but hello. They said hello, dude. Yeah. Someone from Australia that said that worked with you in Samsung electrician.
oh yeah, yes, I remember him very well. Big up. No, he's a good guy. I was in Australia for a whole year. Yeah, in Sydney, and yeah, we used to work. You see, it's not just the training. There's a little brain here as well. So
And were you training while you were in Australia, Eddie?
yeah, I was training.
And how was it there?
Not as I used to like, but yeah, there was a good gym there, and there were some guys that were quite good. So yeah, I used to train. But again, back then, jiu-jitsu, was not. Well, I guess I was coming from a good school of jiu-jitsu, so I was able to like really give a hard time to make the black belts not trying to spar with me. And coming from Rick's camp, you don't care who you spar with. If they tap you, they tap you. Like Rick said, if you tap me, you tap me. When
And it never happened.
but unlike him, I actually I don't mind. I tap, but yeah, the guys were a bit intimidated, and I think just Rick's game as well actually can put people off at times, because it's just like the the constant pressure, it breaks you if you're not ready for it.
Yeah, that's it. And yesterday we had a Chileno from Brazil, and we had a picture of
Mm.
you in his shop there in Brazil. So you went to Brazil with Rick. How was it? How was the trip to Brazil?
Brazil was Brazil was good, man. Apart from before Rick tells you that I was watching soap and I didn't want to leave because I was like just watching telly. So they have good television there. No, but it was good, man. The training was quite good, and I think in the beginning we were struggling a little bit just because of the change.
Heat.
Yeah, the heat. Couldn't breathe properly, so you could gas out quite quick. But then once you start getting get used to it a little bit, man, you were just giving them a hard time. And then we went to Cicero Costa gym, and the day that we arrived there, I don't know if it was actually the actual day, and it was just like sparring, it was just sparring. So, so I'm looking at Reese now like, it's just sparring.
Trial day.
Yeah. And then, and Rick was like, all right, man, Rick sometimes just, is like, everything's just casual. Yeah, it's just sparring. Yeah, they just want sparring. Let's do some sparring. But no, we were all right. Let's do this. Put on the gi and we gave them a hard time. Which was for me, it was quite interesting. Because every time you go to Brazil and that's where jiu-jitsu started, and so you're in for a hard time. And it was good to see that no,
Good
we
luck.
were doing well.
Yeah.
Guys were starting to respect us. They look at Rick and they're like, Rick, where did you find this bitch? It was just a reflection of him. So some guys were not even too surprised because they already knew how Rick was, right? And then I guess just like because Rick destroys them, so it translated to us also kind of trying to do the same. But yeah, the training was good, and everyone was super cool, super chilled. I guess probably the weather helped as well. But yeah, it was good, and we almost got into a fight. So see that's why I said if you don't have Rick there, you probably just run away. But we went out, and yeah, I think she had a boyfriend, but she was like giving me the eye. I hope no one is. So I don't know if it was her boyfriend or someone that was was trying to give us grief, trying to talk to us, and I was pretending I didn't speak Portuguese, so like, and then to see Rick is just standing there, looking at him, thinking,
Crazy.
"What are you gonna do?" And then Rick goes, and then I think the guy said something about fighting or whatever, and then and Rick said, if you want to fight, just you two, you're gonna see what it's gonna do to you. And I'm like, Rick, don't say that. But man, Rick, for your back, it doesn't matter where you are. So we're like, okay. And then so Rick said, what, if you want to fight, you want to start something, you get something, but don't just talk shit here, because it's not his fault that if your girl is, he's looking at him. So, oh man, Rick doesn't care. It's like, you're down, we're gonna beat you up, we're gonna show you how to
It would be suicidal.
yeah. But then you switch as well, and you're like, if you want it, you go for it. But yeah, no. Then the guys were like, they looked at us, they looked at Rick,
Yeah.
and they did.
Yeah, they fought carefully and they just went away.
It was good. I tried to teach Rob how to salsa.
Yeah. Robbie was there. Robbie was in the pictures, or he just joined us.
Yeah.
Man, was you Rob? Was Jake? And
Yeah, me, Rob, Jake, and there was another a white belt. I don't know what's his name. Can't remember his name.
yeah,
But it's also, I'm hanging with Jake and him.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's good, man.
Yeah, we we got a nice house as well. The place was really cool. Oh, Rob Fox, yeah, that
That's
was the other. Yeah, no, the place was really nice, and Rick showed us around, like really nice places to go. Yeah, no, I'll definitely go back and definitely recommend anyone wanting to go.
that's it. Yeah.
Really an adventure. And such a cool thing because he knows almost all the gym, and you go in, everyone is friendly. Of course, everyone, probably try to beat you up, but then again, you learn. We went to Nova Forza headquarters and, had some, really nice lessons there. Met the guys training, and then afterwards go to, to eat, And there's really nice place we went to eat once. There's also a big, I think there's a photo. I don't know if it's posted, but they have samba, they have live music, and a cool place. And I like to, so, and they do big portions.
That's it. Yeah, very important after training.
Just one quick thing para o pessoal da Angola que está a assistir. Obrigado pela vossa presença. Grande.
Obrigado, Angola.
Quer representar?
Campeão da Angola aqui na Inglaterra.
Campeão da Angola. O primeiro campeão da Angola do MMA.
É.
O problema é que na altura eu representava mais a Inglaterra do que a Angola.
That's it, guys. He just said that for the first Angola champion of MMA, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, I think there's more MMA champions. There's one guy that fights now in South Africa that is doing really well as well. But when we started fighting, there's no one from, not that I know of anyone from Angola that was actually fighting or that had actually won a title. But now, yeah, and now Jiu Jitsu also growing in Angola as well. It's becoming quite big.
Is it?
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah.
That's good. That's good. Eddie, I will ask you to give some words of wisdom to Nova Força team for Jiu-Jitsu guys that they're all on the lockdown now. So,
no, I think, man, words of wisdom. No, I think it's this thing was unprecedented. Not expected, and to take away our ability to train and to hug each other and to choke each other is, you know, they don't know how much damage they're doing to us. I just hope no one is going berserk at home and but no, I mean, I think you can now really appreciate how important training is, you know, and how sociable human beings are. And so, you know, with training, you know, there's the friendship that, you know, you meet people, you talk to people, you exchange experiences. You know, there's a whole heap of benefits that you get from training, that you get from the people that you share it with. That, you know, it's just, you know, you cannot put a price to it. And you know, being far from everyone, and like, you know, just seeing people online, which is, you know, is good, but it, you know, it's not the same as, you know, the actual physical presence. You know, the smell of the gym, you know, the sound of you know, people's voices, you know, the jokes, the banter,
That's it.
you know, these are stuff that you miss. But, you know, I think the one thing is, you know, is to keep training. You know, you have to. I think it is a commitment. As a martial artist, you are committed to training. It's not. It's no longer a choice. And I think, and especially as you go into, you know, the higher grades, you have, you know, you almost have a responsibility. You know, so if, you know, if you are training, if you are used to train Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or, you know, the other days, I think you have to still make that time. You know, because your partner should know that you train, and that is part of your life, and they accept that. And so even now with the lockdown, if I used to train Mondays and, you know, training Mondays and Wednesdays, you know, 6 to 8, which is, you know, the time that I teach LSC,
Yeah,
and Saturdays I go from, like, you know, 12 to 2. Those 2 hours, you know, I have to do some training.
that's it.
I might not hours, but I have to do some training. You know, it's just keeping that routine alive, because obviously this lockdown is not going to be forever, you know. So you have to keep that routine alive, and you have to support the club, you know, because um, the club needs us as much as as we need it, you know. As a community, as a group, we need each other, and it, you know, and it is in these times that, you know, we have to support as much as we can. You know, we have to support the club. You know, we have to make sure that we are keeping, you know, motivated, that we, you know, we keep training, because we will get back to it, and we want the gym to be there. We want, you know, the space, you know, for other people to have the opportunity to train. You know, you know, and jiu-jitsu, you need that. You know, it's part of life. It's part of life, and for anyone that doesn't train, and for people that do train, it's very easy to be lazy. It's very easy to just sit on the couch and watch Netflix and not train. So, but, you know, it's like your health deteriorates
Yeah.
quicker than it's hard to build and quick to destroy. So you have to discipline yourself. You have to motivate yourself. You know, you can't always wait. You have to motivate yourself. You have to keep that fire alive, because it translates to other parts of your life as well. You know, even if you're working from home, if you have to do some work or whatever, you go to work, you have to distress, and that those hours of training that, you know, that you give to jiu-jitsu, those are the 2 hours that you cannot put to the side. You know, there's no, don't think that you're on holiday for the lockdown. You're not on holiday. You know, the current situation puts us apart, but you can see that, you know, people that are not as healthy are actually the ones that, you know, are more likely to suffer from what's from this. You
Yeah.
know, and so we need to keep our immune system strong. We need to keep, you know, well. And if you are not training, you know, if you are just, you know, if you are at home just eating and just sitting down, and it's not even about getting fat, but, you know, even if you start thinking about getting fat, it's all that stress, that emotional baggage that you put on yourself, that then you probably take off on your family. You probably, you know, start to get upset and moody, and your immune system goes down,
Yes.
and your appears. So yeah, I mean, you know, even seeing, you know, videos of Ramon and of Rick training, and you know, lots of other people that are training, lots of other people that are, you know, even with the karate club, lots of people are supporting the club. You know, they still, uh, you know, they're still paying their membership because, you know, who can, you know, because obviously a lot of people are also affected by this situation, and you know, some people might do, and some and others might not. But you know, but it is that community that we need. You know, the community cannot be
Yeah, we need to be together, isn't it? Yeah.
apart of this thing. You know, we gotta stick together. We gotta pull together. You know, and come out of this stronger.
Thank you so much, Eddie. Eddie, you're amazing, man. You like that was fantastic. We're really thankful to have you in the club, and we're looking forward to be together and do some
So
training again, man.
definitely, man.
Thank.
So Saturday of a Forza, and just a big shout out to all the guys. You know, I do some training also in London, so you know, to the guys from the Fight Factory, from the guys from DKK. Yeah, so just a big up to them, and keep training because, as I said, you know, six packs don't disappear. So don't excuses when Nova Forza opens, because I'm coming after you.